Tonight might be the shortest show ever, Sean. Things to kind of look at today, man.
Yeah, I mean, we got an NFL game, and I feel pretty confident on this NFL game. I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, I did go 5-0 yesterday, so I guess it's good this week.
Yeah, so you had a hot day yesterday for sure. But one thing I don't understand, Sean, and I was 1-2. I feel like I made the right bets, but teams just didn't capitalize. Tennessee turned the ball over deep inside the Colts territory a couple times, so they left points off the board. And then, what's up, Drew? Good to see you again, my friend. Hope you had a great weekend. And then, of course, the Baltimore squad kept getting in the red zone and kicking field goals, where they kicked 4 field goals. They kicked 3 field goals, missed the field goal before they hit the 60-yarder off the upright. So they left a lot of touchdowns, again, points on the board there. So they should have never even been in a position where Justin Tucker had to kick a 60-yard field goal to win. But that's football, right?
Yeah, see, I was concerned about that game. Detroit really tried, and Baltimore, I still think Baltimore's overvalued.
I wasn't concerned. They just didn't execute in the red zone.
I was so happy about that field goal, though. It was so deceiving when it hit. I thought it hit in the end zone. While that's going on, the Chargers and Chiefs were an incredible ending, and then you had last night with the Packers 49ers. I mean, I'll say it again, I don't know how people don't watch the NFL and get intrigued by it, but you don't have that stuff happen in movies that quick like that.
Well, the thing that I don't understand about the Green Bay game, they make the kids take the Wonderlic test. Why don't they make the coaches take the Wonderlic test?
You're going to say like going down on the 1-yard line and then scoring?
No. I just watched so many games, Sean, and then so Green Bay gets the ball back with 37 seconds left, not a single timeout in the game. And Aaron Rodgers wants to throw the ball to Davante Adams. Mm-hmm. So why not just double Davante Adams? To me, what I would do is whatever side Davante Adams lined up on. Say he lined up on the right. I would double team him, right? And I'd make it crystal clear that I'm going to double team him. I'm going to play a player over top, a player underneath. I'm going to make Aaron Rodgers look to the left. So I'm going to make Tanyan beat me. I'm going to make Scaldis. I'm going to make somebody else beat me. I'm not going to let a guy who has more catches than the rest of my offense catch the ball, no matter what. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring pressure off that side. So if you got Davante Adams on the right, I'm going to bring pressure from the left. So when he turns left, there's somebody in his face. I'm going to make him throw the ball in a hurry, right? I'm not going to give him an opportunity to sit and think and then throw it. I'm going to blitz the hell out of him off the offside, double team his main target, and say, okay, beat us with somebody else and make a decision like that and hope you make a perfect throw, because if you don't, we're going to pick it off. Game's over.
Yeah, well, the problem is they played prevent and left the middle open, and there's too much time for that. Yeah, Green Bay didn't have any timeouts, but they only needed 2 chunk plays, which is exactly what they got, and they had time to spike it. So they played the wrong defense. You can't go into a complete.
You can't. I don't understand why teams do. I never understood for the life of me why they do that. Bring heat, make them throw the ball quickly, make them throw everything underneath, put an umbrella over top, and come tackle it. They got no timeouts. If he throws the ball over the middle and you tackle him, you lay on the guy for 5-6 seconds, then they have to spike the ball. I mean, it just kills. I don't understand.
And the other thing is, it's so hard, but Juszczyk fought to get in the end zone there, and he really would have been better off to be down at the 1-yard line, leave that time go down, and then score later.
But you got to take touchdown. If you need point, you got to take it when you can get it.
Although I will say, in the Kansas City Chargers game where the Chargers went down and scored the touchdown, I think that's the right move. Stop waiting for that field goal that they end up missing half the time anyway.
Mm-hmm. Score. Well, they were aided by a penalty somewhere in there too, where they might have had to kick the field goal.
Yeah.
Same thing. Watching the end of the game between the Dolphins and the Raiders. The Raiders and I'm glad they let them score, because otherwise I would have been 0-3. But so I think in some respects I like John Gruden, knock on wood, but I feel like that he's sometimes a little too John Madden-ish, because they have the ball. There's a little more than 2 minutes left. You basically get a first down and the game's over. What does he do? He hands it off to Peyton Barber. The Miami defense is ready. He loses 3 yards, right? Okay, make him call a timeout. What does he do on the next play? He hands it off to Peyton Barber. Now, it's one thing if that's Chris Johnson and they miss a tackle and he's gone. This is Peyton Barber. Under good circumstances, he's going to get 3 or 4 yards. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand that whatsoever at all. And then, of course, then they're stuck in 3rd and long, and they just burn up the timeout, and they give them a ball back when they don't need to. I, for the life of me, cannot be on. And then in that game too, so they got the ball back from Miami on the Miami side of the field. You're up 8. To me, I play action pass on that first play. I try to get some safe pass where I can throw it. I get myself in field goal position, and then I run it. Because if they stop me, then I kick the field goal. I make it a 2-score game. It's over. Exactly. You never go to overtime. And that's why I wonder, do they make these coaches take the Wonderlic test, or do they just hire blithering idiots?
Yeah, sometimes you wonder. I mean, I will say I was impressed with both of those teams. I know you've said about Miami's coach as well. They're so well coached. Brian Flores, he's one of the best in the league, actually. The way they competed and came back there. And then the Raiders, that's another game they had won that they ended up almost losing, that they still came back and won. So, I mean.
But they should have never been in that spot. If Gruden is just an ounce more aggressive, which kind of shocks me. He's an old man now. He's got nothing to lose. What the hell? He's got a Super Bowl ring. Just let it out there, John. Be aggressive, my man. Play action. Jimmy Johnson. I'll never forget when the Cowboys were playing the 49ers and the game was in the slop and it looked like the Cowboys were going to go to the Super Bowl and they had it. They just had to burn out the clock. And what does Jimmy Johnson do? He play action passes, and then he had the Raiders -3 and cashed out when that was a good idea. And then what does he do? He play action passes and throws the ball on a slant to Alvin Harper, brings the ball all the way, touchdown, game over. Cowboys are in the Super Bowl. Where is that coaching?
I have some coaches that are aggressive, but a lot of them are so afraid anymore.
Chicken littles. So speaking of which, Sean, I think since we only have a little bit of stuff to talk about, 1 football game, 2 baseball games, I thought let's conjure up some trades that might work for teams, that help teams. So to me, Baltimore is one of those teams that, like, Latavius Murray is done. Absolutely done. Devontae Freeman, done. You got a kid in the backfield who can run the ball, but Tyson Williams, but you don't trust him to block, right? Mm-hmm. So if you don't trust him to block and you can't put him in the game, because if you put him in the game, it's a telltale that you're going to run the ball, then make a trade with the Dallas Cowboys. Go out there and offer up a first round or 2, maybe just 1. I mean, if I'm Jerry Jones and somebody offers me a first round for Zeke, I take it, get that salary off the books, commit it to some defense, maybe a little bit more on the offensive line, and you got Tony Pollard. That makes Baltimore a better team because you got a running back in there that can block, running back that can run, and it gives, I think, Lamar Jackson a security blanket.
Yeah, I hear you. The only thing is Dallas is in love with Ezekiel Elliott, even though he doesn't really do all that much. They don't feature him as well. The other thing would be, is Pollard okay to be the featured guy, and who's behind him? Would be the
running backs don't matter.
They'd have to go out and get somebody to back up Pollard at that point.
Yeah, maybe you take on Tyson Williams back or something along those lines. I don't know, but it just seems to me that that's a trade that some team can make that would work out well for them. Chicago Bears, maybe they should trade for Nick Foles again. I don't know if he's still on the team or not, but
yeah, I think he is.
Yeah, well, maybe they should think about trading to stardom. No.
Yeah, they were trying to get rid of him, and it's funny how the market has completely fell off on him.
Well, maybe they should have an internal market. Sean. Any ideas for you that you think that people might consider that would be good for them?
I had a Jamison Crowder, obviously for the Jets. He's been out since week 1 with COVID. Then he had some kind of hamstring issue. Good possession receiver, always has 80, 90 possessions. I was looking at Tennessee. You got A.J. Brown and Julio Jones on the outside. They don't have too much. Chester Rogers is their third receiver. You could get a nice possession guy like Jamison Crowder, and it would open up a little bit more with Derrick Henry in the running game. Maybe
the Colts should trade for Nick Foles. I'm sure Carson Wentz would like to see that, but he's afraid to throw the ball like more than 8 yards or something. Come on, dude, push the ball down the field. Wow. I saw yesterday, Sean, I swear to you, I was watching on a computer while I was doing some work, and I think in like 4 or 5 possessions in a row, but at least 3 possessions in a row, Indianapolis had like 3rd and 5. And what does he do? A 4-yard pass. 3rd and 6, a 5-yard pass. 3rd and 7, a 6-yard pass. And I'm thinking to myself, if you're going to throw it 4 and you need 5, why not throw it 5? If you need 6, why throw it 6? Why throw it 1 less every single time? What? Oh my God. Did you see Henry run over the linebacker? Henry runs over everybody.
Yeah, whoever's in his way.
When he's done playing football, he's got a job in demolition. You're just like, hey, there's a house, just run it over. Boom.
Yeah. For your point, that what were you saying?
Carson Wentz and always
Carson
getting.
Wentz. Yeah, so it's either you don't know if it's him or the receiver. Sometimes the receivers just run it short, and also Wentz is he's one hit away from being out for the year again.
I just think that if that's the case, you're the quarterback. You got to be in the huddle and say, okay, look, dude, you just ran a 4-yard route. We need a 5. Next time, get at least 1 yard past the marker. I'll get you the ball, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Those are some of the things that kill me. It's like, that's what I said. Don't they make these guys take the Wonderlic? Are they once? Okay. Twice, it's intentional. 3 times, man, you're stupid. I'm sorry. That's just the way it works.
Well, and the thing is, now I used to play basketball at the playground all the time, and I would keep score. And I couldn't tell you how many times people playing basketball, they didn't know the score. It's the same with the players on the field. They don't know the game situation. They just play. You should know the situation as well while you're playing.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand like a pickup game how you don't know the score. It doesn't matter really that much. I always counted how many buckets I had, and then I know the game was over when I had 11. Which wasn't very often. But in any case, my friend Paul, he would just light people up. Paul, if you're out there, man, look me up, gtsridgeb@gmail.com. All right, Sean, let's crack into a little bit of football. Monday Night Football. You say you're real confident about this one. I can't pick a side. I can't pick a total. To me, this is a toss-up. It's I think the Cowboys probably should win, probably should cover. I think they're the better team. They looked a little bit better on defense than they did last year. But then again, I'm not certain because they got players that are trying to bribe the folks. Again, back to the Wonderlic test, trying to bribe the drug test taker not to take your test or to give you some other. I mean, anyway, come on, Lillel. You got to do better than that, my man.
So when this line came out, it flabbergasted me that Dallas is only a 3-point favorite. That means if these teams meet on a neutral field, it's a 50-50 game and it's a pick 'em. Does anybody think the Eagles are as good as the Cowboys right now?
Does anybody think the Eagles are as good as the Cowboys? Obviously, Vegas does.
I guess. I love taking Dallas -3 here. I think they win by double digits.
Well, you're getting 3.5. They might win by double digits, but you're laying 3.5 at -105 at Bovada. I'm a Cowboys fan. I've gone to a couple Super Bowls that the Cowboys in. I've gone to see them play multiple different stadiums. I don't trust this team at all under its current makeup because A, they struggle to run the ball. B, Dak constantly misses wide open wide receivers. Intangibles, Dak is probably the best quarterback in the league, right? He's sort of the quarterback version of Derrick Henry, can run through walls. The players want to run through walls for him. But I remember playing against the Eagles year after year after year where the Cowboys were the superior team and they keep losing. I remember Michael Gallup running down the sidelines for the playoff spot all by himself, and Dak Prescott overthrowing him by about 15 yards, right? So it just seems to me that the Cowboys are still the Cowboys. They make mistakes on third down when the other team has the ball to extend drives. They're a team that throws 3-yard outs when they need 4 yards. And they're also a team that will make a big play and at the same time get called back for holding. So I have a very hard time backing the Cowboys as a favorite.
You got to look at Prescott's, his first 4 games last year before he got hurt and his first 2 this year. I mean, he's putting up incredible.
But they lost. All those games last year, Sean, they lost.
Well, that was last year. The Eagles scored 11 points against San Francisco.
So
Detroit scored a bunch of points against San Fran. We saw what Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay did against San Fran.
None of that stuff means anything.
The Eagles were at home against San Fran, scored a measly 11 points. Yeah,
the Steelers beat the Bills. So what?
Yeah,
are you going to put them in a Super Bowl?
I'm telling you, the
Eagles. So what? Then it's meaningless.
I'm just saying. Do you really think if Dallas scores 4 touchdowns tonight, 28 points, you think the Eagles are going to score that much?
I think the Eagles can score. The Cowboys' defense last year was historically bad. Historically bad, Sean. And the only player that they got.
What's the max bet? What's the max bet we can make on this? I'm telling you, Dallas is winning.
Whatever you want, dude. I mean, you can bet whatever you want to bet.
I'll put $50 on Dallas officially -3.5.
$50 on Dallas to win by 3.5. I have the Eagles actually covering according to the system, so I'm a little bit by the hook actually. So, and then as far as the total is concerned, the total right now is at 54. I think not 54. If it were 51.5. I have the game coming in at about 49. So I can't bet the Cowboys, I can't bet the Eagles, and I can't bet the total. So I'm just going to I guess, go out and maybe do one of those little DraftKings games where you pick some players and hope that they score points.
This is one where I would go the team total again. If you want to go the over, I would go Dallas over 27.5. I don't trust the Eagles offense to help with that 50, but I trust if it goes over, Dallas would have to score at least 28 points. I don't see the Eagles being a part of the over.
The Eagles will score tonight, Sean. The Cowboys defense is not that good. There will be some big plays.
But I don't know if they're going to score their half of the 50. I would trust Dallas more. If it's going over, Dallas would score at least 28 here. So I would go that way.
So what do you think about Drew's player prop? Jalen Hurts over 55.5 yards rushing. He might not need to rush. Their defense can't cover nobody.
Yeah, but he's going to. I would probably go over. If you're going to look at it that way, I would go over. I wouldn't go under. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's tough to say. The only thing that I think can hurt that is his quarterback. Quarterbacks sometimes get hurt, right? And then if they do get hurt, then and if Sean's right, the game script probably wouldn't really set up well for him running a lot, because that's what the Cowboys would want him to do instead of moving the ball down the field. I don't think the game script's going to set up that way. This is a interdivision rival. Two teams, they know each other inside out, upside down, backwards. I think if anything, that might be a high-scoring affair because the Cowboys defense thinks. But then again, I can see Miles Sanders breaking off a couple long runs today because they can't stop the run. This is going to be a high-scoring game. Unfortunately, I said I'm going to stay disciplined, so I'll stay disciplined. Any player props from you, Sean?
I didn't get to dig too deep into that. I'm looking now.
I think Dak probably throws for over 300 yards.
Yeah, maybe CeeDee Lamb a touchdown.
Maybe CeeDee Lamb a touchdown.
Plus 115.
Amari Cooper always has big games against the Eagles, too. So I would keep an eye on Amari Cooper. I think that's the wide receiver to look at.
That's about the same, plus 120. So
to score a touchdown? How many receptions over under for Amari Cooper?
That's a total different. Let me see. I will say the touchdowns, it's so Amari Cooper's 74.5 yards, receptions over 5.5.
I think, what's he over 5.5?
For receptions for Amari Cooper.
Yes, I understand. Plus minus what?
Minus 115.
Minus 158?
115.
Minus 115. Okay. Yeah, I think he goes over 5.5. He's always had very big games against the Eagles. So I think Amari Cooper over 5.5. I'm not going to make an official bet, but I feel like that's a very likely scenario. All right, Sean. So that wraps up Monday Night Football. I think so. You're going to bet $50 on the Cowboys. You're going to be upset about that. I'm a Cowboys fan. I know all about them, and I hate the Eagles. So, nonetheless,
I just think the matchup's good tonight. Dallas's offense hasn't been stopped when Prescott's been playing.
But their defense lets people score.
I know, but the Eagles' offense has not been that good, and they got to protect Hurts too. I mean, yeah, sure, he can run around, but how often is that going to work?
All right, we only got 2 baseball games to cover tonight, Sean. So you have the Washington Nationals visiting the Colorado Rockies. Anything in baseball there?
Yeah, I mean, Marquez in Colorado at home versus Josiah Gray on Nationals. I think Colorado's a good play here.
I think Colorado's probably a good play, too. That's the only play I have. So I'm going to put $20 on Colorado. Looks like the best line we can get, Sean, is minus 155. I agree with you. Marquez is the superior pitcher. Advanced analytics put him substantially ahead of Josiah Gray. And then when you look at the home team scoring runs versus the away team scoring runs, Colorado has a major home field advantage relative to Washington's play on the road.
I'll put my normal 30. I'm not putting 50 on that one.
Good. Why don't you put all your money in there? Oakland and Seattle, they just played this exact matchup not too long ago. Irvin and, I don't think he pitched against Flexen last time. I said I would stay away from Seattle for the rest of the year. There's only a handful of games left. I think I have the discipline to do it. But maybe Oakland with a plus line might be the better play here, Sean.
I don't think so. I think Seattle's the play. I mean, they're still alive here. It's amazing that this Seattle team is still alive for this wild card. And I think they did match up because I think this is the one I said I would actually prefer Irving. And then you looked at the metrics and it actually favored Flexen by far.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Seattle's still playing for something. They're the hotter team. I think Seattle wins this game, and I'll play that as well.
So you're going to put 30 on that as well? Well, yeah. I'm going to put 10 on Oakland to win. Just half of it, and I'm going to take plus 101 plus 112. They have the run differential, which is hard to believe. And the simulator says that they're going to win this game probably 54, 55 times out of 100. So I'll go ahead and I'll take the plus line. I'll take the value. This is a straight up. It's not a matchup bet in any way, shape, or form. It's just a straight up value bet because the simulator and the implied probability definitely favors a bet on Oakland. If you hit these type of bets 50% of the time and you win 50% of the time and you take in a plus line, it's a profitable way to go ahead and bet. So instead of having just one, I got two, Oakland and Colorado. 20 on Colorado, 10 on Oakland.
Okay, and I'll do 30 on Colorado and 30 on Seattle.
All right. Anything else, Sean, before we wrap up this Monday of baseball and Monday Night Football?
The only thing I will say is now we got 3 games in the NFL, so now we got more to go on for next week. We also got some, I'd say, ugly 3-0s and not bad 1-2s.
You are what your record says you are, Sean.
Like
I don't care how you get there.
Carolina's not a 3-0 team, and they're another one now. They'll go into
their record is. You are what your record says you are, Sean. There's no ifs or buts. You beat the teams in front of you. I know they beat the Giants, they beat the Jets, they beat Jacksonville, whoever it is they beat. They beat 3 bad teams. But the fact of the matter is they beat 3 teams. Well, and they beat the Saints. So, I mean, how can you discount that?
Well, but they beat the Saints with all the coaching issues. You could see what the Saints did week 1, week 3.
So the coaches do the coaches play or the players play?
The players play, but we've seen and we're talking about the players can't do a good job of coaching themselves on the field.
But they had coaches there.
Yeah, but
you think there was just the players out there? Like if we went out on the field and started playing football, let's go.
Their preparation was horrible. They didn't have a lot of preparation, and they were all disjointed that game. So I would just throw that.
Maybe
one out.
Rule is a better coach than people are giving him credit for. Maybe Sam Darnold's a little better than people give him credit for. Maybe they drafted wise and they're much better on defense now. Maybe they're not so Christian McCaffrey centric. So maybe it's a better team than you think it is.
Maybe I would.
Because they shut down the run in all 3 games so far.
So part of the reason I bring that up, and now you're a Dallas fan and you're saying what you're saying about Dallas tonight, looking at next week already, Dallas is only a 3.5 point favorite against Carolina coming in without McCaffrey. Just seems low.
Well, we'll find out. Dallas probably should have hired Rule when they had the chance to hire him because that was a guy that was on there.
Yes, McCarthy's
on the radar.
McCarthy's not a good gameplay coach at all. Is
he a good coach in practice or what part of coaching is he any good at?
I don't know, but I can tell you he's not good at when he takes timeouts, good play calling. He's not coach. His coach awareness is not very well.
But somehow he won a Super Bowl, so you can either say Aaron Rodgers won that Super Bowl because I know now you're stuck because you don't want to give Rodgers credit, but now you're taking away McCarthy, so it can't be one. It can't be both, Sean.
No, I would say it was Rodgers that year.
Well, then you've been wrong on Rodgers all your criticism.
No, Rodgers is great. I just said he's overvalued. He's great. He's not great like everybody thinks he is.
I think when you hold the record for interception to touchdown ratio, that makes you one of the best players at your position ever.
And I shouldn't say anything. I mean, Rodgers, I won't say anything bad after last night. He won me $200, so I'm good with that.
All right, Sean. Well, hopefully tonight you win $50 on the Dallas Cowboys. We'll find out when the clock goes 00, Sean. If folks want to follow along with us, or basically, what should they do? Where should they tell their friends they can find us?
MoneylineMadmen.com. You can sign up. Takes less than a minute. View everything. And then also Facebook and Twitter, Moneyline Madmen, and then subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes, and while you're there at YouTube, if you would be kind enough, if you like what you saw, a thumbs up helps us with their algorithms, move higher in the rankings, and as this is a competitive field, right, the sports betting stuff. And then while you're on Facebook, if you give us a like or follow us on Twitter, those things help us rise up their rankings as well. Till we get back tomorrow at 23-30, Sean, the Cowboys beat the Angels, who beat the Cubs, who beat the Cardinals. That means the Cowboys are the better baseball team. We'll see you tomorrow, 23-3. As always, folks, I hope all of your bets are winners, especially those Cowboys.